Hey folks, I'm Amy Patee. Welcome to my channel. Today's practice is a flowing sequence that is intended to just get you out of your head, get you into your body, get you moving, and it might raise your heart rate a little bit, it might make you sweat a little bit, and it will definitely turn on all of your muscles. We do a little bit of strengthening as part of this practice today as well. And really, the aim of the practice is to get your body ready to house the limitless part of you, your spirit. So I hope you enjoy the practice, and if you do, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to leave a comment letting me know what you liked about the practice, and also if you have any requests for future practices. And also, if you resonate with my teaching, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm working on releasing more and more videos. And you can even hit the little bell and you'll get notified when those practices are released. So again, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the flow today. All right, so go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. We're going to start with a brief centering just to kind of tap into ourselves today and get grounded, and then we will get moving. So I am sitting cross-legged up on a bolster. You can sit cross-legged as well, maybe on a folded blanket, or you could sit on your knees, whatever feels best for you. And then if you'd like, you can go ahead and let your eyes come to close. And just let your palms, your hands come to rest, and you can have your hands palms down. You could turn your palms up. Sometimes that's a nice gesture of receptivity, just flipping those palms up. And palms down, which I often prefer when I come to my practice, seems to help me go inward with a little bit more ease. So you can experiment and choose the position for those hands consciously and purposely. And then just begin to tune into your breath. And sometimes our body, mind, spirit remembers this place, this yoga mat place that we arrive at time and time again to reset ourselves, our energy. And as soon as you sink in a little bit, you might notice yourself wanting to yawn or just take a really deep, fulfilling breath in and out as your nervous system begins to shift into a state where you can begin to fill yourself back up. So just sitting here and breathing and noticing how you're doing on the inside today. And you might be able to just peel back any surface stress that you arrived here on your mat with, just by inviting a gentle softening through your body. And you can link that with your breath. So just breathe in, fill up, and then as you breathe out, soften. And get a little bit heavier in your tailbone. Feel your legs, feel your feet, feel the ground beneath you, really letting your spirit begin to anchor into your body. Just allowing for this homecoming to happen. It doesn't have to be something that takes a long, arduous journey, right? In just a moment, we can begin to reconnect to our expansive, unlimited self and begin to invite that to become enlivened inside our very own bodies. So let's take about 3 to 5 more breaths here, just breathing in, feeling how you are today, right? Breathing out, softening. Breathing in your spirit, your unlimited self. Breathing out, anchoring that part of yourself in your physical body. And let yourself take one more nice deep breath here. Just breathe in, fill up those lungs, and sigh out through an open mouth. And then let your eyes blink open and shift yourself forward onto your hands and knees, and we'll come into a child's pose. And just make this child's pose, your child's pose, really nice and easy and comfortable for yourself, for your body. And we are going to be moving and flowing with our breath, kind of getting our heart rate up a little bit, building strength in our bodies today to hold the bigness of our spirit. But right now here in child's pose, just rest for a moment and breathe into your back body. Breathe into your spine. As we breathe into our spine, we invite ourselves to grow more centered inside our very own bodies. Take 3 more slow breaths here. You can utilize Ujjayi breathing, so there's a little bit of sound on your breath. Good, breathing out completely. And then on your next breath in, rising up. Come onto your hands and knees into tabletop position. Spread wide through your fingers, and let's begin to move our spine here. I'm going to have you tuck your toes, arch your back, slide the shoulders down away from the ears as you breathe in. And then point your toes back, push through the tops of your feet. Exhale, round your spine, squeeze the belly up and in. Breathing in, arch. And breathing out to round. Just warm up your back. Waking up those muscles. Enjoying the movement. Letting it really be your own. With all the yoga poses, you really get to kind of stylize them, at least from the way that I like to teach and practice. I encourage people to really kind of stylize their yoga poses to really match their mood, their body, and what they need from that practice. So let yourself maybe explore that a little bit here. We'll take a few more breaths and let your cat-cow just morph into a fluid movement that honors your body and where your body's at today and how your body's feeling. You might have a really sticky spot on one side of your spine, and if you explore a little bit, you can actually start to maybe loosen that up. Kind of get creative with your movement. Take one more breath in, one more breath out. And then come back through center, come back through neutral, tuck your toes, and bring yourself to the back of your mat into a little squat here. And just let yourself kind of release. You could hang gently over your thighs. This is also a good place sometimes, you know, if your wrist fatigue quickly, just give your wrist a little stretch, turning the palms up. Good, and then inhale, lift your gaze, look forward, and straighten out those legs, and just come into a relaxed forward fold here. Give your feet some space between them. Soften your knees a little bit, sway your hips a little bit from side to side. Maybe shake out your neck, your shoulders, your upper back a little bit. And then take a breath in, reach out with your chest, look forward, extend long through your spine. And as you exhale, let's walk the hands out and come into downward facing dog. And for this first down dog, just go ahead and let your hips sway a little side to side. Maybe lifting the heels, lowering the heels. One of my favorite stretches here for the feet too is to actually kind of stand on the tops of my feet. So I point my toes back and stand on the tops of my toes and feet and stretch my ankles. And sometimes that's really intense, so you might just do one foot at a time. But that's a really good stretch for those feet. Now press through your palms, reach your fingertips forward, reach your tailbone way back. Slide your shoulders away from your spine, head is hanging. Breathe in deep. As you exhale, feel your lower belly hollow out a little bit, the space right between those hip bones. Good, and then breathe in, look forward, and walk your feet to the front of your mat. Take an inhale here, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Good, and then with your knees a little soft, just go ahead and roll yourself up through your spine. When you get to the top here, you can let your shoulders just shrug up, back, and down, standing in preparation for our sun salutations. All right, so let's breathe out here. And on your next breath in, go ahead and let those arms stretch up and overhead. You could lift your gaze, and I like to pull back a little bit here, just arching the spine. And then breathing out, go ahead and reach out with your heart, dive over those thighs, forward fold. Breathing in, lengthen. And exhaling, we're gonna step right back into plank pose, upward push-up position. So as you come into your plank here, just pause and hold, and if you need to, you can tap your knees down, right? Otherwise, just keep those knees lifted. Squeeze your thighs on, squeeze your belly, squeeze your arms. Lift the back of your neck so you're looking slightly forward, and hug your hands towards each other without scrunching your shoulders towards your ears. This requires quite a bit of work here. And then shift your whole body forward. Keep squeezing in gently through those hands as you lower all the way down to your belly. And we're just gonna take this first flow kind of slow here. So you'll breathe and curl up through cobra. Let your toes spread a little bit, press through the tops of your feet, and do a big scoop of the shoulders up, back, and down. You can hug in through your elbows, maybe lift the palms for a moment. Breathe in, and then reset your hands down and tuck them back so they're halfway between your shoulders and hips. Press in through your elbows so you'll feel that upper back working. Engage your thighs. Stay here or press through the hands, lifting up into your upward facing dog. Totally optional here. And then pull all the way back. We'll meet in down dog. From down dog, lift your right leg, stretch it up. Let the hip open here, bend the knee. Again, kind of stylize this for yourself because you are opening your body for your spirit. So how does your body need to move and express to be open? Take one more breath. As you exhale, lunge your right foot forward between your hands and tap your left knee down. Lean into those hips a little bit, and then you can keep your hands low or take a breath in, reach up with your arms. Melt the shoulders, lean back with the upper body. Exhale, release hands to your mat. Lift the back knee, spring to the front of your mat here. Breathe in, stretch, Breathe out, fold. Bend your knees. Sit back into a chair pose, lift the arms. So this could be, mellow chair pose. You can make it more intense, easily just by bending deeper. Breathe in. And then exhale, fold back forward. Inhale, lengthen. And you want to feel your weight shift here towards the balls of your feet a little bit. Exhale, step or hop back into your plank. Pause for a moment. Activate the muscles. Breathe in. Shift forward. Squeeze those hands towards each other as you lower. Maybe you're coming all the way to your belly, taking that cobra pose, or full upward facing dog. Exhale, pull back, meeting in downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Breathe in, sweep it up. Bend your knee. Give it a good stretch. Inhale. And then exhale, lunge left foot between the hands. Tap your right knee down. High crescent lunge. Inhaling, arms float up overhead. Breathing in here. Exhale, shoulders melt. And releasing, hands to your mat. Exhale, lift the back knee, spring forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Sit back into those hips. Chair pose, rising up. And exhale, dive right back over. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, find your plank. Maybe you can hop those feet back and lower down at your own pace through chaturanga. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. So as we move through the sequence here, let yourself move at a pace that feels right for you. So if you're a step behind me, no problem. And rest whenever you need to. Take child's pose, right? Or just any kind of break, maybe a sip of water if that feels right for you. So from downward facing dog pose, lift your right leg. Breathe in. And then we're going to exhale, bring the knee to the nose. Breathing out. Squeeze up and in. Lift the leg high, inhale. And exhale, lunge your right foot between your hands. And this time we're going to come up into crescent lunge with the back knee lifted. So go ahead and rise up, find your balance. See if you can stabilize here. Working the back left leg nice and straight and strong. Finding a little hug of your inner thighs towards each other. Focus your eyes and look upward if you can. Good, breathing out, release. Take your hands to your mat. Press through the left hand, lift the right arm. Just a nice easy twist, breathe in. If your wrist needs a little stretch, wring it out here. And exhale, releasing right hand to your mat. And this time step all the way forward again. Breathe and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Circle those arms up. And exhale, release forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, find your plank. Hop, stepper, walk back. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. So also, maybe chaturangas are not ideal for you right now for your shoulders or for some other part of your body. Hold plank as an alternative if that works for your body. Plank is a full body strengthener, so it's really great to work into your practice if you're looking for that strengthening focus. So let's lift the left leg, breathe in, sweep it up. Exhale, knee to the nose, squeeze. Push, 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 and squeeze the belly. Lift the leg back up, inhale, and lunge it forward, exhale. High crescent lunge, rising up, arms reach overhead. So just hold here for a moment, straighten your right leg, maybe even engaging all the way up into your right glutes, and then those inner thighs, they kind of press gently in towards each other, mostly up close to your hips. The inner thighs close to your hip joints. Melt the shoulders a little, reach long through those arms, gaze up, breathe in. And exhale, release. And twisting. So ground that right hand, lift your left arm. Maybe wring out your wrist. Breathe in. And exhale, release. Spring forward. Lengthen, inhale. And fold, exhale. Bend your knees. Find your chair. Arms overhead. And we fold right back forward, exhale. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, take your feet back, walk, step, or hop. Move through at your pace. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. And keep that breath flowing deep. Feel into your heart beating, maybe the warmth of your body. And then again, we'll lift the right leg, inhaling. And then this time, bring your right knee towards your right elbow or your armpit and just squeeze. Push the floor away. You could look at the space between your hands. You can always tap the toes down if you need to. Push back, inhale. Exhale, lunge. Right foot between the hands, drop your back heel. Rise on up through warrior one this time. So back heel on the floor, arms reaching high. Good, gaze up. Squeeze on the muscles of your legs, and then take your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers. Just roll those shoulders back, let your sternum lift. Hold here, and again, lift your chin a little bit. Maybe you can lift the arms away from your body. Sometimes it's nice to have a belt or a sock nearby. If your shoulders are really tight, you would put that between your hands here, which will give you a little bit more range of motion. Good. On your next breath in, arms float back up. And then exhale, open to warrior two. Nice deep bend into that front knee. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms all the way down. Lift your back heel. Twist once more. Take that right arm up. Good. Breathing out, releasing. And then step into your plank. Roll to your left hand and take one arm stand, Vashisthasana. So if you can, stack your feet or wobble around like I am doing. You can stack your feet, flex your ankles, push the floor away. Breathe. You can always do this with your left knee on the floor, or even on your left forearm if your left wrist bothers you. Let's hold for one more breath. Stay strong. And then exhale, plank, and you could push back and rest or flow. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. You could let go with a sigh out through your mouth. Congratulate your body and how strong it is, how mobile it is, right? That it's moving you through this practice today. So let's move through that on side two. Lift your left leg up, breathe in, and then knee to your left arm. So, maybe it's down low. You're gonna try to push through the hands, squeeze the belly, lift the knee up, slide it up towards your armpit. And then the foot could tap down if you're building strength, or try to lift your toes way up away from the floor. Then reach back, inhale, and lunge the foot forward. Exhale, drop your back heel, come into warrior one. All right, hold here for a moment and just find your pose. Your feet, your leg muscles working, your lower belly hugging in gently. And then release your hands behind your back. Grab that belt if you need it, or interlace your fingers. Try the opposite interlacing. And just breathe into your chest and let those shoulders begin to melt back and down. You could lift your chin a little bit. You could try to pull the arms away from the body. Keep that nice deep bend in your front knee. This one feels really good to me today, so I realize we're kind of lingering here. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, open to warrior two. Find your alignment for a moment. Flip that left palm up, inhale, exalted warrior. Nice big stretch. Exhale, windmill the arms all the way down. Pick up your back heel. Press into your right palm, lift your left arm. Take a twist. And then exhale, release. And preparing for that one arm stand. So come into your plank. So if you need a modification, just drop your right knee, roll onto that right knee and right hand, and lift your left arm. And remember, you can come to your forearm as well, or you can try stacking your feet. Push the floor away, gaze up if you can. And make your body as still as possible by pushing fully into the floor wherever it's touching, and then squeezing your muscles. Breathe here, breathe, breathe, breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, plank, take a break, or flow. Chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. And then just hold here for a couple breaths and breathe, or drop your knees into child's pose and breathe. See if you can come back to your Ujjayi breath. Good, and then let's walk the hands back towards your feet. Yogi squat, so take your feet out a little wider than hips, bend your knees, drop your hips down, and settle in here. And you can always sit on a block. That's a nice option if your knees feel vulnerable here, or maybe it's your hips. You can prop your blocks up underneath your bum, and then you can kind of walk your feet forward to find the placement that just honors your body. Now, if your heels don't touch the floor, it's not a huge issue if you're not feeling pain, but sometimes it's hard to balance, so you can also roll a blanket up and place it underneath your heels. And just breathe here. Eyes focused out in front of you or even closed. Slow that breath way down. Notice how your hips feel here. So as we kind of move our body, as we work into the muscles, as we build a little heat, we want our hips to feel nice and open because they're kind of the gateway into the lower half, right, into the lower legs, and into our feet, and into grounding and anchoring. So if your hips are really tight, right, you can kind of do all this movement, but energy might stay more up here. And as a result, we might even feel more like up in our head. There's all this energy, but we're still up in our head. Coming deep into your body and getting really grounded actually can help the mind start to quiet down a little bit, or just have a bigger container so the thoughts don't feel quite so loud or big or crazy. All right, so I know we've been here a while. Let's take one more breath. Good, breathe it out. And then let's try for a little crow action, Bakasana. And if you're new to crow, just first things first, be mindful of your wrist. If your wrists are tender, if they get tired really quickly or sore in any way, maybe skip this entirely and see if you can hang out in your squat a little longer, or do this more light on the hands and more in the core, so it's not an actual arm balance. So I'll demonstrate that first. So if you're wanting to stay light in your hands, have your hands still about shoulder width apart, and then you're gonna lift your hips up and see if you can kind of bring your heels up as well. Bend into your knees a little bit and touch into the upper back of your arms if possible. Look forward. Now my hands, I'm not taking weight into my hands. And then from here, I'm just gonna try to hollow out my lower belly. I'm gonna pull it up and in. And if you hold here long enough, you will feel this in many places, not just the core, but also the back of your legs, working the calves. Now, if you are ready to take a little bit of weight into your arms, and again, if you're on the newer side, keep your head lifted. Head lifted, head lifted. I have watched many students topple doing a little face plant, and it doesn't feel so great. So keep your head lifted. That's gonna help you from face planting. And then start with your legs wrapping a little bit around the outer upper arms, elbows bend like chaturanga. You need to shift forward a little bit so that your elbows stay over your wrist. Gaze lifted. Try lifting up one foot as you squeeze your inner thigh in. You could go alternating or lift both feet. Squeeze your inner thighs in. Lift your gaze. And then you can bring your feet back down when you're ready. Come back to your squat. So crow has lots of levels and variations. And when you're first starting out, just kind of keep things low to the ground, elbows bent. Over time, once you're in the pose, you might extend your elbows. You begin to kind of build lightness up in the body. So your pelvis begins to lift really lightly instead of feeling like you're lifting like 1,000,000 pounds. Practice. The more you practice, right, the easier it gets. All right, so if you're still exploring your crow, take a break, straighten out those legs, and come back to your forward fold. Shake things out a little bit. Take a breath in, lengthen. Position your feet about hip distance apart, and let's give our wrist a break because they've done a good amount of work for us today. If you can reach, slide the palms of your hands under the soles of your feet. Bring the toes way up to the creases of your wrist. This is called Asana. Foot to hand pose. You can bend your knees, lift your chest, inhale, and exhale, fold your body in. So let your breath slow down. Your toes could wiggle, giving your wrist a little massage. And then on your next inhalation, lengthen. Exhale, release your hands. Extend your spine out long and come into your down dog. Get really long through your arms. Reach your fingertips forward. Pull your heels back. Stretch them down. Lengthen out your side bodies. Pull the pelvis back and up. Breathe into your belly. Exhale, hollow out the belly. Good, and then drop your knees to your mat. Take your hips back and down. Rest into child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Take your last breath in, last breath out. Inhale, looking forward, rising up. Maybe just cross your ankles here, roll over your feet. Come to sit on your mat, and we're gonna do a few core exercises. And let's start with kind of a boat pose variation. So you can bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor, grab hold of your shin bones to start and just lean back and kind of lift through the heart. So you want to feel a little bit like your two hip joints. If you go way deep in there, you want to be hugging them towards each other. And then the pelvic floor muscles. And if you're kind of new to engaging the pelvic floor muscles, one way that you can just kind of begin to find them and learn how to activate them is just to imagine you're in a really long line for the bathroom. There's more subtlety than there's more subtlety to engaging the pelvic floor than that, but that's a good starting point to just kind of like, can I feel that? Can I turn that on? Does that actually help me feel a little stronger? And then you want to lift your spine. There's lots of muscles along your spine. You're going to engage those as well. Reach out with your arms. Maybe lift your gaze a little bit. So I'm feeling a lot of work just there. Even my inner thighs kind of have to hug in slightly. So this is really like a whole body workout. And then, of course, if you want more, float your toes or lift your shin bones or extend your legs. So hold here for 3, 2, 1. And then go ahead and lower your feet back down and just sit up tall for a moment. And let all those muscles release. And that's really key. Some of those muscle groups are chronically held. So when we go there and we take those muscles that are already really tense and we engage them even more, when we release them, it's like they start to actually let go. So it's a way of kind of getting into those really tense places. You actually go above and beyond the tension that's already there. And then that naturally starts to help them be like, oh, I can let go. Okay. So now we're going to do that boat pose one more time. And this time, when we do it, we're going to move into low boat, Ardha Navasana. So that's when we'll kind of scoop the low back down onto the floor. So come back to your starting version and you can stay with your feet on the floor. If you want the full intensity, go ahead and lift the legs, take a breath in, chest is lifted, and then exhale, shoop, lower all the way down. Try to bring your toes in line with your eyes. Maybe your feet are on the floor. And then we scoop up, breathe in, and exhale, lower. So if you're working with the legs straight, really reach out through the balls of the feet, lift up. And I am shaking a little bit when I lower down because it's a lot of work. Exhale, lower. Lift. Good. Let's do one more. Exhale, lower. Hold. And then let your feet release. Let your upper body release. Surrender here for a moment. So full surrender. So again, like if your organs have been really held, your abdominal muscles, those core muscles, we squeeze them consciously. We take that tension kind of above and beyond where it's been living. The nervous system says, hey, what's going on there? And then we release. Some of that tension gets to surrender then and begin to actually let go. And we become more open. All right. So bring your feet to the floor and let's take a bridge pose, or you can move into a full wheel pose if you have that as a practice. Okay, so feet hip distance apart. Maybe you can reach down, kind of barely touch your heels here, and then roll your hips up. Let that belly stretch. Work into the back of your legs. Lock your shoulders underneath you. If you're going to stay here in bridge pose, you could even try interlacing your fingers, pushing down through the arms. Imagine you're hugging an imaginary block right now between your thighs. If you're trying for wheel pose, hands come alongside your ears. Press and lift all the way up. We're taking your version. Let's hold for about 3 more breaths. Breathe in. Exhale, lower all the way down. Rest here for a moment. Sometimes it's nice to just give your legs a little windshield wipe from side to side. If you were up in the big wheel, maybe you want to roll out your wrist, give them a little shake. And then bring your knees to center. Gently hug your knees in towards your low back. Rock a little side to side. Easy twist, arms out to the side. Let your knees fall over to the left. Take some deep breaths into your belly, into your low back. And then lift your knees up and over to the opposite side. And just let yourself surrender. Bring your knees back up through center. See if there's anything else your body may want. And here in your Shavasana, if you'd like to take maybe a kind of a passive restorative pose for your Shavasana, you could try Supta Baddha Konasana. So that's when you bring the soles of your feet together and just let your knees open up out to the side. And if you happen to have a bolster, you could put your bolster behind your back. Also, couch cushions or a rolled up blanket can work. You want it to pretty much support your whole spine though, including your head. And then you might also want to prop up your knees with extra support here too, especially if your hips just feel really vulnerable in this position or you're feeling any strain upon your knees. And of course, this is all optional. You could just lie flat on your back in traditional Shavasana, but sometimes it's nice to give yourself the treat of a restorative pose, which, for instance, this position is going to give you a little bit greater opening, subtle, but still powerful opening through the belly and the chest and heart area, as well as the pelvis and the hips. And just let your chin tuck gently. Do a little scan through your body. Just feel how your body is aligned, how the bones are resting. Notice if they feel like they are in the right place. And if not, just adjust. And then see if you can sense into your energy, that life force moving through you. And your spirit, that limitless part of you. And you need to adjust your body to accommodate your energy or your spirit. And if so, just make those adjustments. And then tune into your breath and just breathe gently, softly, naturally here. So if you have extra time in your day to rest longer, I always encourage that. I think we live in a culture, live in a society, live in a world where rest is not seen as a necessity. So give yourself time to rest longer if you can. And if you're ready to get back into your day, wiggle through the fingers and toes. Stretch the body. Ease yourself over onto your side. Ease yourself up. Take your time. Coming back into a seated position. And take a moment before you shift gears fully here and really assess how the practice impacted you today and how you're feeling in this moment. Again, maybe you feel your two sits bones on the floor, your legs, your feet, the earth beneath you, holding your body, and your body holding your spirit. Gather the palms to press. Take a nice full breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Thanks for joining me for this practice. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.